this would cause poor choices, impulsive choices, quick choices. I gotta go for that. I can't let this go. I gotta go. So it's a little, we don't know if it attracts unreliable people or his emotions are not reliable. So the emotions, the finances, what's he gonna do for a living? He's not gonna want to work at normal things. He got this impulsive nature, not a lot of tolerance, but money can go. If he had money, he would want to spend it on whatever, and it might not be real for what he want to spend it. He could be very, give it to everyone else, or spend it too much, or just show off with it. Or that Venus really is confused. Sometimes you can't assume it's good or bad. It's a difficult aspect. It's going to show when Venus works properly, when Neptune works properly, it creates a social conscience. So the Venus-Neptune could be very kind and want to help people, and it's trying to help people more than they deserve. But his strong I meanness is not inclined to help people. It's to try and help himself and not necessarily have people supporting him. Or how reliable would he be? How concerned would he be about other people to get what he wants? So I'm just working the Venus, self-worth, values. It's powerful, it's forceful, it's charming, charismatic. I'm going to go for it, I'm going to get it. But at Neptune, there's some puzzle in this. Something's not as it seems. Something's evasive here. So you wonder, if he tells you he loves you, does he mean he loves you, or he likes you, or the attraction becomes too strong, the evasion, the aversion, he can be attracted and repulsed. So there's guilt, there's confusions about having, I should have this, I don't want to be blamed for what I have. I want to have things, I don't want to be blamed for it. I got to get it. Like, no matter what, I got to have a certain security. The Venus has a direct line to the moon. So the Venus is the choices inside all the action and impulse of Aries, all this Aries. The sun's going to empower the Venus. If I want something, he's going to, if he wanted something, he's going to charm like nobody else. He's got the moon and Taurus are going to kick in, and the sun and Venus are going to kick in, the Mars and Venus are going to kick in, the Mercury. This person can charm or sell things. Probably salesman would be a good job, or doing something active to go on things. But the weak spot, and this Neptune is a weak spot. Something's missing here. Something strange how he makes his choices or what he wants, where he fit in, where he belonged. So sometimes when this works well, a person falls in love with someone and they're out of culture, and they're in love with someone out of culture, and it's a scandal to the family, but it's not to them. And things work out like that, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. They're not going to get supported. But because of confusion over values, self-worth, money, talent, it's almost like it's not sure if he believes in himself or if he's believed enough. There's some credibility factor around his Venus, around appreciating. And of course, the Neptune's tied in to oppose the Mars as well. So when you look at the Mars, it's going to have the same aspects as the Venus, the one badass, the conjunctions of Venus and opposed to Neptune. So the actions become confuted, diluted, over fanatical, overzealous, or over pathetic, and over dependent. So there's Neptune weakens the Venus and Mars, or deludes it, or confuses it, or tempts it. Where Venus and Mars and Aries is straightforward matter of fact. You want to go for it, just do it, go for it. Neptune puts some confusion here. It makes it perhaps a little more social conscious when the temperament is not so much so. What's a guy got to do to get appreciation? What do I do when I grow up? I don't want to grow up, the Aries, the Taurus man. What do you mean grow up? But I like nice things. I want to do things. I want a bike. I'm going to get a bike. I want to do that. This is a kid that should grow up with a puppy, but probably never did. But his ability to push for what he wants. But in school, you have someone that might be very active, but not sensitive to how his actions are affecting others and might need special guidance or special control. They wouldn't have them back then. You know, it's through the 50s, so that, no, I wouldn't have been there through then. It was just been dealt with whatever. But still, There's a hauntingness inside this chart. This Venus Moon, Venus Mars. We'll get to the Sun as in soon, but the Venus Mars. Oh, I wish I had Venus Mars conjunct. I go for what I want. This is sexy. It's impulsive. He's impulsive to go for what he wants. He's going to dance for it. But how does he choose what's good or bad, what's right or wrong? There's a gullibility here because he's so impulsively going for himself. He can't necessarily assess the characters of others that well. Or as long as he's getting what he wants, that might be okay, but he might not. If someone pulls back a little bit, he would make a big issue of it. If anything he had that he wanted was going to be threatened, it would suddenly become a big issue, magnified. So I get the image of Don Quixote going off to fight the windmill, thinking it's the enemy that he's got to overcome for his lover, to save his lover. Or Caligula dreaming of the moon and wanting a sister and wanting the things that were out of reach. Here, there's some kind of illusion, some kind of sorrow, some kind of confusion, and it's put into action right away. So he could be a person being always active, always having to prove things. Maybe he's always having to prove that he can satisfy himself to others, but he can't let himself be satisfied. But he needs to be, but he can't. Like a funny puzzle here. So it should be, by nature, a very dedicated person who's helping the underdog, the Neptune to the Venus Mars, a kind of someone who's grows up and gets a little more aloof and decides not to do the work. It decides to go more to meditative or spiritual things or more evasive, aloof things. But the very nature of evasive, aloof, he's still got this competitive spirit of the Aries to have to prove stuff. I got to do it. I got to do it. So he's born on April Fool's. You could see the April Fools rush in. He could rush in for anything he wants and then have to deal with the repercussions. But other people aren't going to be like him or push things as far as him, so he could end up being used for that. Still, bring him up, you'd want him to be physical, active, play sports, be competitive, and be as active as he could. That would burn off the energy. If he didn't, you would never get this kid a Coke. When he was a kid, he'd just go wild. So you go out and play, go out and do something. You use the energy as a kid. You get them active, get them physical, make them healthy and doing things so they have that physical energy in their being. That would solve, like a martial art or a sport. It would have been a sport or something. That would have been good for him to play sports. It's a very competitive, a place where he could belong. He'd be doing things, and he still wouldn't be a good loser. Okay, now, so that's the Mars hitting the Neptune. So when Mars hits Neptune, Mars is your energy and your passion, and it gets confused. And Neptune actually weakens the Mars. It makes it fanatical and desperate, or fanatical or extreme, messianical, or it can be pathetic and never finish what it starts. Or it can be unreliable. So the Venus-Mars conjunct, both opposing the Venus. Whoa, who does this person attract? What does he have? How does he deal with this? What's he do? Like, how reliable is he? How confused? What's he doing? He's got all the Aries to lead everything, but not necessarily the followers who really follow him. Okay, so when you don't have the houses, you take a little more time to wonder about each of these things. And really, it's the time you should be spending on every chart like this anyways. But we're seeing the puzzle, we're seeing it, so we don't know what it is yet. When you know somebody, you say, oh, that's coming from this. There's a tendency to crystallize that too fast. The aspects are the tendency, as an astrologer, they let you see the complexes, but he's still, in his nature, going to try and be all that Aries. And ignore the aspects. Let's just go do it. There's going to be, when he doesn't want something, he's not going to put up with it. He's going to have to get it, then he's going to go for it to get it. The Aries to the Taurus. Stubborn force. Determined. Courage. It's a courageous person who really take risks. Do things. But you add alcohol or drugs to this Neptune to the Venus Mars would really mess this up completely. Probably with the Taurus, The Taurus moon is strong enough to not want to be, to control diet or not to control things. So I'm not sure. I think it's more of a social or a sexual weirdness or confusion. I mean, Neptune to Venus can bring the alcoholism. Mars to Neptune can't stay at the same job. The Mars Venus, I can go for anything. You could sell anything, but it's going to be hard to be consistent at anything. And the Sun just adds more force to it. Go for it. Well, try it. You won't find out till you try. Go for it. The Sun adds the courage and the confidence in going for what he wants. He would have strong strength and courage to push what he wants. And his mind would link up to it. This is the reason for it. So everything on his chart is on go to get what he wants, to do it, to make it happen. Way more than anyone else. So you have a lot more courage than other people. Like these spring signs, you see it in the Gemini. I get an idea, let's go on it. Other people are reflecting on their ideas a little bit more, and it's a little bit more cautious about it, and it makes a Gemini think other people are more retarded. Well, Geminis have the ideas. They have so many ideas, and they like the freedom to go on it, but they don't go on it. It's like, here's someone who just go on it. The Aries energy will just push to make things happen. Probably get along with Geminis pretty well because they're not making strong demands of the other. Okay, so in a relationship, he might have things to prove, and he might want to try and prove too hard. He might love too hard or want too much, but then not be consistent. Or he could be tempted and running around to all kinds of people. It's hard to, you don't know. So in bringing someone up with this, you'd be trying to counter the deceptive or confusing aspects of Neptune and make the person more sincere and simple and a little more self-reliant in what they're doing and able to champion good causes and develop good values. So the weakness is getting the good values out of that and going on trying to prove you can do the good values. You go take on this, you take on that, you go do this. So he could be really good getting money for a good cause or trying to work or be dedicated towards something. That dedication, that's how that should work. But the Sun here, the Sun is his confidence. It's tied into the opposition to Neptune. It's tied into the conjunction to the Venus and the Mars. So this is all like a powerhouse Aries. But there is this potential alcoholic or this confusing, this element in it around it, touching everything. So, something's not as it seems, some puzzle here. So what you see isn't always going to be what you get. Okay.